Every year, billions of people around the world mark their calendars for December 25th. We gather with families, exchange gifts, and celebrate the birth of Jesus of Nazareth. But here is a question that might ruin your childhood, or at least your calendar. What if I told you that Jesus was almost certainly not born in December? And why do millions of Christians celebrate his birthday on January 7th instead? Today you will learn the answers to many questions.
Let's start with the primary source, the Bible. If you open the Gospels of Luke and Matthew, which tell the story of the Nativity, you will find angels, shepherds, wise men, and a manger. But there is one thing you will not find: a date. Nowhere in the New Testament does it say Jesus was born on the 25th day of the 12th month. In fact, for the first 3 centuries of Christianity, the birth of Jesus wasn't even a major festival. Early Christians focused on his death and resurrection, Easter, not his birthday. So if the Bible doesn't say it, where did we get these dates?
First, let's address the confusion we see today. Why do Catholics and Protestants celebrate on December 25th, while many Orthodox Christians, like in Russia, Serbia, and Ethiopia, celebrate on January 7th? Did Jesus have 2 birthdays? No. The problem isn't theology, it's math. For centuries, the Roman Empire used the Julian calendar, created by Julius Caesar, but this calendar was slightly flawed. It was 11 minutes too long every year. Over 1,500 years, those minutes added up, and the calendar drifted out of sync with the solar year. In 1582, Pope Gregory XIII fixed this by creating the Gregorian calendar, the one we use today. He skipped 10 days to get things back on track. However, the Orthodox Church refused to accept the Pope's new calendar. They stuck with the old Julian calendar. So December 25th on the old Julian calendar currently falls on January 7th on our modern calendar. They are technically celebrating on December 25th, just using a different clock.
But that brings us back to the main issue. Why December 25th in the first place? There are 2 main theories. Theory number 1, the pagan replacement. In ancient Rome, late December was party season. It was the time of Saturnalia, a festival of lawlessness, feasting, and gift-giving. It was also the time of the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. Romans worshipped Sol Invictus, the unconquered sun. They celebrated the rebirth of the sun on December 25th, when days started getting longer. Many historians believe the early church chose this date strategically. It was easier to convert pagans if you let them keep their holiday but changed the meaning. Instead of the sun god, they celebrated the Son of God. Theory number 2, the conception hypothesis. Some ancient Christian scholars believed that great prophets died on the same day they were conceived. They calculated that Jesus died on Passover, late March. If he was conceived on March 25th, the Annunciation, then 9 months later, you land on December 25th.
So December is likely a symbolic date chosen by the Church. But can we find the real date using history? Let's start with the year. Our entire calendar system, BC and AD, centers on Jesus' birth being year 1. This system was calculated by a monk named Dionysius Exiguus in the 6th century. Spoiler alert, he made a mistake. The Gospel of Matthew tells us Jesus was born during the reign of King Herod the Great. Here is the problem. According to Roman historians, like Josephus, King Herod died in 4 BC. If Herod wanted to kill the baby Jesus, Jesus had to be alive before Herod died. Most historians now agree that Jesus was likely born between 6 BC and 4 BC. Yes, ironically, Jesus was born before Christ. Now, let's try to find the season. For this, we look at the clues in Luke chapter 2, verse 8. And there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. This is a massive clue. The climate in Judea, modern-day West Bank/Israel, has a wet, cold, rainy season.
In December and January, temperatures drop significantly and it rains often. It sometimes even snows in the highlands near Bethlehem. During the winter, shepherds would not be sleeping in open fields at night. They would bring their flocks into corrals or caves to protect them from the cold and rain. The fact that they were out in the fields suggests a warmer season. This points to two possibilities: spring, the lambing season, when newborn lambs need watching, or early autumn, when the weather is still mild enough to sleep outside.
There is another clue: the census. Luke says Mary and Joseph went to Bethlehem because Emperor Augustus ordered a census. Roman administrators were efficient, but they weren't stupid. They would not order a massive population movement, forcing everyone to walk for days back to their ancestral towns in the dead of winter. The roads would be muddy, the rivers swollen, and travel would be dangerous. A census would likely be scheduled after the harvest, perhaps in September or October, when the weather was good and the roads were dry. Some biblical scholars point to the Jewish Feast of Tabernacles, Sukkot, which happens in late September or early October. It is a festival of dwelling, and fittingly, John 1:14 says the word dwelt or tabernacled among us. If Jesus was born during this festival, the town of Bethlehem would have been packed with pilgrims, explaining why there was no room at the inn. Finally, what about the star? Astronomers have looked back at the skies of that era. They didn't find a supernova in year 1, but in 7 BC there was a great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. In 6 BC, there was a conjunction involving Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. These rare planetary alignments would have been extremely significant to wise men or magi who were astrologers. These events happened, you guessed it, not in December, but at various times throughout the year. So let's summarize the evidence. Jesus was likely born between 6 and 4 BC. He was probably born in the spring or early autumn, not the winter. And December 25th was chosen centuries later to align with existing festivals and the winter solstice. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history, hit that like button and subscribe. What do you think? Does knowing the real history change how you view the holiday? Let me know in the comments below.